All right, guys, let's take a look at the Barreto 30SG. Now, just want to start off, I don't own this. I rented it from United Rentals. See right there. And I've used it almost 2 full days. I'm going to say like 10 hours, close to 10, 12 hours, something like that. This is a pretty good unit. It's 30 horsepower, has a Vanguard Briggs & Stratton 31 horsepower engine, gasoline, it's not diesel, and the business end is right here. And this is hydraulically powered, not belt driven, hydraulics. Here's your hydraulic pump here, and then here's all your hoses down to your hydraulic motor here. And this is on tracks. I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but I'm pulling it on that little, you know, 1-axle trailer right there. It probably weighs a little over 1,000 pounds or so, if I had to guess. I'd say between 1,000 and 2,000 pounds, no more than 2,000. I'd be shocked if it's more than 2,000. So let's get into sort of the likes and dislikes here. Likes, I like the tracks on it. And that system seems to be a little bit easier maybe than the wheels. It will turn on a dime. It's zero turn. The only problem is when you zero turn like that, you kind of mess up the ground, you know, like right here you can see kind of where that did that. So and the tracks, you know, the tread on them is very aggressive. So if you're taking this over like really nice grassy areas in people's yards and stuff, that could be a problem if you're making a lot of sharp turns over the wheeled units. No, you can easily fix that if you just bring some plywood, you know, with you. I see that the tree removal guys do that a lot. They take around those big stacks of plywood so they can lay them down. So so that's an overcomable problem. But it drives pretty good. One thing you got to be real careful with, when you're backing up with this thing, it'll, you know, if you're backing up and your foot's like right here or whatever, it can run over your foot before you even realize it. So just be mindful of that. I like the shield right here. Obviously, it's a great safety feature right here. It really does help deflect a lot of the stuff that it generates when it spins back towards you. It would be nice if this was a little bit higher, maybe. Where it could come up a little, give you a little more protection at height, you know, but when you are running this, you either want to wear a face shield or safety glasses, and you definitely want to wear some hearing protection, either some earmuffs. I was wearing earmuffs, or some earplugs, something to deafen the sound. I mean, it has a muffler obviously, but I mean, this is still a very loud unit. You don't want to be operating it definitely without hearing protection. But it doesn't actually throw back at you too bad, like up in your face or whatever. I think I got hit maybe one time on my hat right here, but for the most part, it's not too bad when it comes to throwing stuff back at you. But I think the main thing would be it throws something at like a tree in front of you, and like I did have some piece get thrown at a tree, and it ricocheted off and came back and hit me in the chest. So that will happen to you as well. But it just straight up throwing stuff right back at you, it's not too bad. The controls, very simple. I mean, very user friendly up here. All your stuff is very easily labeled. There's your swing right here, left, right, and then your raise and your lower, and then this is your drive, tracks, forward, backward, neutral, all that stuff. And then your parking brake, you have a parking brake down here. It's very easy, off, and then you just move this lever down and then it's on. So parking brake's very easy with that. Tie downs in a great position right here, 1, 2 right there, so it's very easy to get to. And then in the front, I just kind of went, you can either come through here, or I think I went through here with just a strap. So I did a chain on the front and a strap, or a chain in the back and strap in the front. So but yeah, control is very easy. Here's your throttle right here. engine. Here's your hour meter right here, place for your instruction manual. Very, very easy to to run, control. Key start, and then here's your choke, air filter. Most of your stuff is pretty accessible as far as the engine, oil, dipstick. This is your gas right here, and then I think the hydraulic tank is, I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's down there on the bottom somewhere. Not exactly sure on that one. There's the hydraulic oil level right there. There's the glass sight for that. I'm not exactly sure where you fill it. I haven't needed to do that, obviously. So, but I'm sure that's in the instruction manual for all of that. So, pretty good. It's a pretty good unit. Things I don't like about it. One, I think this gas tank could maybe be a little bit bigger if they could somehow work that. This thing eats gas. I mean, it really does. And I think in about an hour and a half, it went through about a half a tank of gas in it. So if you're out, if you're running this thing, make sure you top it off at the beginning of the day. And then I had a 5-gallon gasoline can that I took with me, so you want to make sure you have spare gas, because this thing it'll probably go through 5+ gallons of fuel in a day, depending on how much you run it or whatnot. So I think this could be a little bigger. That's really about it. So that's really my only real I would say complaint with this thing, just running it, would be just having to put fuel in it kind of constantly, because if you keep going and going and going, all of a sudden, before you know it, you run out of gas pretty quick on this thing. So, which is not a diesel, so it's not a serious problem or whatnot. So all in all, power wise, it's got some power. I mean, if you guys watch my videos, I mean, it went through some stuff. If I was in the stump grinding business and all I did day in and day out, and that was my main thing doing, was grinding stumps, I don't know if this would be the machine for you, so to speak. I think you could probably get, if you're going to invest the money, go with a little bit bigger diesel machine that might be a little bit more efficient. But if you're a landscaper, or somebody like me that does like land service work, and you're getting maybe 1 or 2 calls a week or something like that to come out and grind a stump or two, this might be a good investment for you. I don't know how much they go for retail. I saw some used ones online with about 800 hours or so, I think, for like 12 in the 12,000 range. So I'm gonna guess they probably go for around 20-ish or so. If you're doing something like that, I think it'd be great. I think it's a great unit also for renting, for like homeowners that want to go out and grind some stumps. This is basically what this is. My parents own this lot, and I'm just kind of out here, they rented this thing, and I said, hey, I'll go grind that stuff up for you. So, if you're a homeowner, or, or just a kind of do-it-yourselfer, and this is a great unit to rent for doing, small to medium-sized stumps. And I did that big one back there. I think it was like 52 inches. So it'll do bigger stumps, just take you a little bit longer time. And if you really know what you're doing, it might, probably pretty, I didn't really know what I was doing when I first started off with this thing, as far as all the stuff. I'd never run this thing before, until I got my hands on it on Wednesday. It was Friday. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty good unit. Like I said, if you're doing this every day, day in and day out, I don't know if this would be, you'd probably get one a little bit bigger, a little more powerful, more efficient. But it will grind. It'll go through some stuff. As far as the maintenance stuff on it, as far as the heads and everything, I don't really know. I haven't messed with that, but just kind of wanted to give you guys a cursory overview of what I thought about it, just using it for 12 hours or so. I really like it. And if I was getting calls, once or twice a week for stump grinding, I think this would be definitely a unit that I would invest in. And the other good thing about it is that it has a Briggs & Stratton engine in it, and so it doesn't have some off-brand, you know, made in, you know, wherever place that you can't get parts for, you know, and can't find anybody to work on it. You know, Briggs & Stratton's a very common engine on small equipment, small engines. So I mean, you can easily get parts, and you know, you can probably, wherever you're at, easily find a small engine mechanic that can work on this engine. And then obviously you got your hydraulics and stuff, and then, you know, if you need to take it, you know, that's just looks like pretty standard hydraulic stuff to take to a either a hydraulic shop or a heavy equipment place. They can probably get you what you need as far as the hydraulic parts and stuff like that. So all in all, I think it's a good unit. It's very well built, very, you know, all the stuff seems to be in convenient places as far as tie downs. It's very compact, very small. You can easily, this shield folds in. I don't know if I can do, so you just kind of turn it and it folds. Pick that little thing up and it goes down. I can't do it one-handed, but it does fold in, so it doesn't always stick out. I'll put it back on in a second. But you just pick it up and swing it back over, and it's got a little locking pin right there, so it locks and stays in place. And then just to activate your cutter, which is kind of easy too, you push this in, this bottom trigger, so you hold it, and then you just press that button, and then all you have to do is hold this part. You don't have to hold this button at the same time too, and then it'll just go. And then as soon as you let off of that, it'll stop the wheel, and it slows down very quickly since it's hydraulically driven. You know, it doesn't take very long for it to slow itself down and come to a complete stop. So you're not having to sit there for like 5 minutes waiting on this thing to slow down and stop spinning. It pretty much stops pretty quickly within a couple of seconds. So yeah, just got to keep it greased. All your swing points are all hydraulics, the up and down, left to right, all hydraulic. So you got some hydraulic pistons here. One thing it won't do is it won't go, so if you're swinging left to right, it won't do left and right and then up and down simultaneously. You can't really go like at an angle. It only will do like one or the other, especially while that wheel is spinning. I mean, there's only so much oil, hydraulic oil in there to go around. So so pretty much you got, you know, you can either go left and right, but you know, for the most part, you're not really needing to like go down at any angles or anything like that. But that's pretty much, you know, as far as that goes, that's kind of how that works. So, but all in all, I think this is a good unit. Seems to be very well built. And I think the only real problem that you may get into as far as any real serious cost, as far as basically your teeth and the bearing in there with the teeth, and then, you know, if you don't keep this thing inside, these rubber tracks are eventually going to rust, or not rust but rot, and then you're going to have to replace them. So that could get a little costly, but especially over the cost of tires. But if you kept it inside and kept it dry, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But those should last a good while as long as you keep it out of the weather. And this thing is small. You know, you could keep it in your garage. You could keep it in a small shed in the back. You know, it's not very big, doesn't take up a lot of space. So so yeah, if you're interested in getting one of these things, like I said, I guess United Rentals is renting these things now. I don't know if that's nationwide. They just said, hey, you know, around here we're getting a lot of calls for stump grinders, so they got one. And I think this one, when I got it, had like 70, right at 70 hours. So I think it's got close to 80 on it now. So something like I put like 10 hours on it or so. It seemed like it was more than that, but so yeah, if you're interested in this thing, call local United Rentals and see if they have one. You can check it out. And I guess, you know, if you have any other questions, you can call Barreto and see if they can maybe let you test one or something. I don't know. Maybe they'll give me one for free for doing this review for me. That would be cool. Hit me up. But okay, guys, if you got any questions, hit me up in the comments. Hope this guy's helped you with any questions you had on this thing. I'll see you later.